This is a review of the Iron Man Trilogy and these figures right in front of you. This is my first review of the series so far, and this is a starting video. I will give my opinions of the series and will love to hear some feedback in the comment section below. So let's get started. The first movie that got me started into all this was Iron Man. I played the video game on my PSP, and the series just got interesting for me. When I watched the movie, it was really awesome, and it got me started in everything from Aliens to Indiana Jones and all that, and Star Wars. Iron Man started for me because Robert Downey Jr.'s performance was great, and I just loved his acting. The other actors, like Terrence Howard or Jeff Bridges in the first movie, they gave their best performance they could, but weren't as good as the main attraction, which was Downey Jr. The first three suits you see just in front are the ones from the first movie. The three alongside them are Mark 4, 5, and 6, which got into the second movie. 6 would return for Avengers, and 7 would make its debut in the movie. Mark 42 came in Iron Man 3, and Mark 43 came in the Avengers Age of Ultron as a bit of a successor to the Mark 42. This would become relevant because originally Tony Stark quit in Iron Man 3, and it opened a huge plot hole to the series leading on to Civil War. All this was possible because Tony Stark's condition that came from the cave, which was the arc reactor. The shrapnel lodged in his heart. It gave him the ability to create the suit of armor known as the Mark 1, and since he felt powerful for the first time, the Mark 1 led to all these unique armors. My personal favourite would possibly be either the Mark 42, 43, Mark 7, and the Mark 3. Honestly, I like all the suits because they're all cool. Some in the Iron Legion, though, do look a little bit stupid, but the main suits always look cool. I'm not really a fan of the Hulkbuster because it's just too big, and I'm not really a fan of huge. I'm just a fan of classic Iron Man. My opinions for the first movie, well, it was really well done. The CGI was at good use with the armor suit. They used good practical effects. The action was very well put in. You only get like 4 scenes of action at the most, and all of that, it becomes relevant when it needs to. The story has very limited plot holes, which I would get into when the sequel comes around, and the use of animatronics is very varied within the movie. Jon Favreau directed the movie very well, and it was just great. The second movie, now that, although it wasn't the best for Marvel, it was still entertaining. I watch it more than The Incredible Hulk because it's just better. I find that The Incredible Hulk is the lowest in the MCU, but we'll probably get to that another time. Anyway, Iron Man is at his lowest in the sequel, where he's got his poisoning from the original arc reactor, Mark 1 arc reactor, and it causes him to go crazy, which leads to his addictions and basic... Let's just say he just loses his second suit due to his drug addiction. The third movie was also not as good as the first, but it was better than the sequel. What many fans get really annoyed about is the fact that the Mandarin wasn't used in the right way. Ben Kingsley did provide a solid performance, but it was wasted due to the fact that it was just an actor. I'm hoping in the MCU they'll explore why all that led to what had happened in Iron Man 3, and why Ben Kingsley's character just was wasted in some way as the Mandarin. I know that Robert Downey Jr. wouldn't do another Iron Man movie, but it would still work out. And I'd say the best Iron Man movie is definitely the first one. But Iron Man is also in his top performance in the Avengers and the Avengers Age of Ultron. Iron Man has a lot of banter with Captain America, which is really funny. And the way he just jumps into action when he goes after Thor, when he takes Loki, that was just fun. Watching the Avengers last night, I really felt... it felt awesome to me, so I just love the series in all these different respects. The sequel, Avengers Age of Ultron, was also good. Not as good as the first movie, though, but it was great, with new armors like the Hulkbuster and the Mark 45. It really just set a good standard for the series. These figures you see before you are very in quality. Most of them coming from the Iron Man 2 line. They varied in quality when the Avengers came around. Although it wasn't bad, the limit of articulation and the minimum paint use in the eyes and arc reactor did annoy me. But things got really worse when Iron Man 3 came around. Because they gave us this horrible gimmick where you pull everything apart. I don't really mind it, because if you see Iron Man 3, you'll know that he has this prehensile technology which he uses to summon different pieces of the Mark 42 armor, and they all come together to make the suit. The quality, I hated the Age of Ultron style because it just so lazy. Its quality isn't as good because of the paint. Not enough gold in stuff, not enough silver, not enough. I always love the back detail, and yet they don't give the back detail. See, if I show you the back, it just doesn't have any good detail. No silver in the back, no gold, just a big red back. Now, if I showed you the back of this guy, you can see he's got gold details and silver details. That is okay. But the Mark 43 was just lame and just lazy. Of all these armors, I would probably recommend the first two, the Mark 1 and the Mark 2, because they have really good details. They're really well done, as you can see, with the eyes and all the different details. Mark 2 with all its black highlights. And if I were to choose a red and gold one, personally, I would go with this one. Yes, it's not the best, but I still think the quality is okay. It's better than those two. I like this Mark 42 though, just because it's the only one I can find that is affordable, and I just like it. The Mark 43, you can find it easily in Target. if you are in Australia, or you can get it off eBay easily. The Mark 6, I don't really care about that one anymore. It used to be one of my favourites, but I prefer the Mark 3 because it's the first suit. However, I would recommend the Mark 7 because it's one of Tony's best suits. The Iron Man trilogy is a pretty solid trilogy. It's not the best, but it does do the job in bringing entertainment. If you're not a comic book goer and you just want to see a superhero movie that has the name Iron Man in it, then you'll just enjoy the trilogy. But if you're someone who knows a lot about the comics, then watching movies like Iron Man 3 would probably annoy people because that whole plot issue with the Mandarin and the extremists. So, with all that in mind, I hope this review brought good interest in the series. With all that, I say good day. I'd say goodbye. Please subscribe. With all that, I hope. The Iron Man trilogy is great. I hope that I gave you positive feedback of the series. With all that in mind, please comment, and I hope this is all good. Bye.